Welcome to Habesha Connection. I go by the name Sam, aka Sam Fitness. Today we got a special guest. Special guest, Helen, the presenter. You're all seeing her on the social media. Welcome to Habesha Connection.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes.
How you been?
I've been good, man. Trying to survive in this lockdown. Can't complain. I'm all good.
What's new?
What's new? That's a good question. To be honest, I haven't been putting that much work out lately. Because prior to the lockdown, my plan was to do more outdoor stuff, like going out doing content. I wanted to do content abroad, but, Mr. Boris Johnson said no. We aren't allowed, so yeah.
Well, let's hope we've got not long to go. We've got not long to go.
Oh, I'm counting down, man. I'm counting down. I can't wait.
Let's go back. I met you years ago.
You did?
When you was...
I'm still,
yeah.
By the way.
No, she's not. But how did you first get into presenting to the social media? Or to the whole shebang?
So, social media as a whole?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of weird. So when I was in sixth form, in my media class, I would say I was kind of like the class clown. So people would look at me and think wow, you're funny. But I didn't think you're confident, you're whatever. When we do presentations, I'd always just be extra. And then back then, I've always known that I kind of wanted to do something in terms of being on stage, performing, whatever, but I didn't know that I'd be presenting because I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? So I just thought I can talk. Let me do presenting. And I kind of made a YouTube channel, but it wasn't for anything serious. I had no intentions with it. It was literally me just uploading whatever, just any random stuff or whatever. And then when I kind of saw other presenters doing their thing, I was like, wow, this is cool. It's literally you being you and, just talking about a topic that you might find interesting. So yeah, I kind of just...
How was your first, do you remember the first time you did it and you put it out there for the public?
Oh, that was very, very interesting. So at the beginning, I didn't know anything about I didn't think that anyone could go viral on social media. I thought you already had to be famous and big to go viral. But I made this video about Habesha parents. I just saw a video about, yeah, I know it's very, very saucy. I saw this Asian girl talking about Asian parents. And I'm thinking, this sounds so similar to freaking Habesha parents.
So you went straight into the parents.
So I was like, you know what, yeah, let me do my own version. I didn't even think, it's literally a 5-minute video, and it I didn't listen, my brother doesn't even use Facebook or social media, and he found out about it. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, bare people have seen this video. Everyone's sharing it. I was like, what are you talking about? And then I go on there and there's 100K views,
No way.
Straight away. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? I was confused. The feedback was crazy. I was very nervous. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't trying to I didn't want this to happen, but it happened. And then from there, I kind of let me just talk about my culture and being a Londoner and kind of that sort of thing.
Did you decide then and then that's what you're going to do? Did you have a plan or did you just go with the flow?
Back then, it's I had no idea that I wanted to do presenting or whatever. I was just making random videos. And then a lot of people liked it and a lot of people disliked it. But either way, it got a good reception. So I just started making random videos from there. And I would say then I was like a YouTuber, but I wasn't a presenter. I was someone that I was just making videos for no goddamn reason. But yeah, that's the kind of beginning of when my first video went.
But that must have been a bit overwhelming to get that reaction on your first video. How did was that intimidating? How was that for you?
It was intimidating. It's I remember my dad went out and I think he had a mahbar or something, and he was like, we were actually talking about you. I was like, what? I made it to the mahbar. I made it in live. Yeah.
The whole community was talking about it.
Literally, they were like, oh yeah. And family friends that the children were telling me, my dad, my mum kind of saw your video, but they were in denial. They didn't like it. And I was like, come on, you've got to agree. They were like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, but obviously because they're in denial, they're obviously going to dislike it. I was a bit overwhelmed. I was like, it's good that it did well, don't get me wrong, but I've never had that kind of attention before. So I was like, this is so awkward. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, I just didn't even expect it.
Was there fear? I mean, going to the Habesha community, did you have a bit fear, or did it make you a bit more shy? Or
I would say it kind of made me, I wouldn't say shy. I was a bit confused because it's like, you know, when you like walk into like a Habesha function and it's like,
everyone's pointing at you.
all of us, obviously, are Habesha people, like we've all got this weird habit where we like staring at each other. In your head, you'll be like, yeah, I know that girl, or I know that guy. I'm not gonna go say hi to you though. I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna stare at you, but I ain't gonna come and say hi to you. So we've all experienced that. I'm sure you guys all know, like, get where I'm coming from. We come from a community that's a bit, but let's not even say anything. But it's like, so yeah, when I kind of like started to put myself out on social media, like you'll go to a wedding or you go to a function and people will be looking at you. And I'm thinking, why is everyone looking at me for? Like, some people come up to me like, oh, are you not Helen? I'm like, and then I'll find it weird. I'm like,
did you deny it?
I can't deny it. Imagine if I like,
you know, one of those when you go, no, that's not me.
Sometimes I wanted to be like, yeah, that's my twin sister, you know, like, because it's a bit annoying. It's not annoying. Like, I appreciate everyone that comes up to me and gives me good feedback. You know, that's genuine. Like, instead of like staring at you from afar thinking, that's that girl, innit? Like, so whoever comes up to me, I'll be very grateful. And at the same time, I'll be very shy. I'll be like, you know, when you think that people in real life won't recognize you, it's just people online, but then you realize they're actual people who are watching you. Real life
people, yep.
So it's a bit overwhelming, but I appreciate all the good feedback.
And where was the first time then you realized, okay, this is what I'm going to do? And how did you come up with the idea? This is how I'm going to tackle it. This is the way I'm going to go forward with it.
Okay, so I went to university and I studied media and communications.
Oh, that helps.
For a year and a half. So I dropped out of university and I kind of like, I was doing very well. I was getting first. I was just I was doing very well. But then I just realized, you know what, I'm more of a practical person. Like, I'd rather, you know, do my own research and put the work in, you know, network with people who have already That's
amazing though. Like, you knew what you wanted.
I know. It's really good because even in sixth form, I had a mentor who worked at Channel 4. So like, she used to help me, you know, get opportunities, you know, go to the right networking events where I can, you know, meet with potential people that I could work with and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff really helped me. But I realized that I wanted to do presenting when I saw like other people like who are my age doing well at it. Like, there was people who are my age who are like doing so well, and I was like, you know what, let me not limit, because I kind of limited myself. I kind of like put myself in a box. I was like, nah, there's too many people doing it already. Like, there's no point. But then, you know, especially in this industry, it's very competitive. So you're like, you get discouraged when you see people around you doing it. But for me, I would say like my selling point would be like my culture. I always like incorporate that, and that's like the first thing people kind of like notice when they see what I'm doing. So I always had like a twist with that, and so I dropped out of university. Long story short, family was not happy with that.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine.
But we moved. I mean, I did okay. Still doing okay. I might go back. I don't know, but at the moment, I feel like I'm doing all right. So yeah.
Amazing. Oh, so. How did your family react to it, knowing that you're getting viral in the Habesha community? Or your brothers or anybody else in the family?
It was, to be honest, my family are not really on social media like that. Like, they're not social media. I'm like the only one that kind of uses social media. So like, you know, when you're watching memes and stuff like that, when you're talking about it, they're like,
they ain't got a clue what's going on.
What are you talking about? Or they'll send me like a meme that's like 5 years old. I'm like, yo, you're late. Like, nah, like, what are you doing? They're like, no, it's funny. I was like, yeah, it was funny 5 years ago. Like, I'm not part of the WhatsApp group. Do you know? I'm more on Instagram. Like, do you know what I mean? But how they reacted, they're supportive no matter what. But obviously they'll find it kind of weird because it's like, they're not used to like me being out there like that. The attention. There was no negative feedback at all. I would say they've always been supportive, but obviously there's that bit of confusion where it's like, Helen, like, this many people. I was like, I know, but I didn't ask for it. Like, but then, but either way, like, obviously they know my goals, they know what I want to achieve. So at the end of the day, for me, it's all about the vision, and they're supportive of that. So yeah,
No, that's
no
amazing.
bad vibes at all. Like I'm thankful that I've got a really
Because
supportive
it could
family.
it could be hard for family members, if especially for fathers and anybody else, the daughters getting this attention, especially in our community. Like you don't know how to handle it.
Absolutely.
I think I can. There's not a lot of people did that before, so they wouldn't know how to handle it.
Yes.
So they would be like, "What do I do? How do I react? Who's my daughter now? I might not even know who my daughter is anymore."
Yeah, no, definitely. You're right. It's definitely, especially in our culture, because it's quite a taboo for someone to go on social media and just be so vocal, especially as a female, you know, like they say females have to be
Certain type of way.
quiet and reserved, but
Well, we don't believe that.
I guess I'm a man. Don't know. Yeah.
But when you go to those process thinking, like I was watching a couple of your videos, is there a process you go through? Do you plan it? Do you take your time? How do you come up with those ideas?
To be honest, the best ideas are the ones that are unplanned. Like the videos on my channel, the ones that have done really well are the ones that I literally thought of in 5 minutes. Obviously, it's an idea that I'll think of in 5 minutes, but I will put work into producing it. Like, I won't be like, yeah, let me just go and do that tomorrow. I'll sit down and be like, okay, I thought of this idea just out of the blue. I need to write down how I'm going to execute it and, you know, how long it's going to take and stuff like that. I would say I'm not really the most consistent person. I haven't been consistent, but you know, if a video does well, I'm very appreciative of it. But I would say that I'm a very impulsive person. Like, I think on the spot. I like looking for inspiration as well. Like, I'm the kind of person I'll go to the park and I'll see a tree and I'll be like, yeah, that tree looks cute.
Really?
I'm very, I don't know, I'm just like,
A tree.
anything. Like, I'll literally just look at something and be like, wow, let me take something from that and kind of like, you know, that's just
Work around it.
I just think on the spot. I'm impulsive, but I put the work in. I'm not the kind of person that's like, yeah, you know, it didn't take me long. Like, nah,
They're keeping it real.
I
Keeping it
work
real.
hard, yeah.
Talking about inspired, is there anybody that inspired you at that moment? Was there anybody, I don't know, it could have inspired you? Because I'm trying to think to what you do. There was not a lot of Habesha ahead of you that did what you did could inspire you, or do you take inspiration from anywhere?
I wouldn't. In terms of what I want to do, obviously as a presenter or a host, someone that I really, really look up to is Oprah Winfrey. Like, she's the OG. She's a pioneer. You know, obviously she made it at a time where social media didn't exist. She had a terrible, she's been through so many horrible things. I'm sure you guys all know what she's been through. And obviously she's a woman of color. So seeing someone go through that and become what they are today, I just felt very, in a way, like, wow, like, I've got all of this. I can buy cameras. I can do what she did in my own room. Do you get what I mean? And obviously now it's much more hard because, you know, everyone is doing it. But I don't look at it. I don't look at it. I don't see myself. I don't compete with anyone. I say to myself, look, you know, I just want to simply be better than who I was a year ago.
You got your own lane.
Stay in your own lane. No matter what you do, you've just got to slay in your own lane, stay in your own lane, whatever you want to call it. Because if you compare yourself, you're literally just going to
Absolutely.
pull back.
Absolutely. Then thinking, going back in the community, when you got the reaction or you went viral, because the way I see it is you always think you're going to top up the first video. How did that make you feel? Did you go and think, oh, you know what, I need to do a better one now to get a better reaction? Or was it, you know what, I don't know what I'm going to do?
Listen, I was scared. I ain't trying to go viral like that here for all these uncles to come and attack me and be like, you had a disgrace. Yeah. No, like, but a lot of people were saying, like, why don't you do a part 2? Because I feel like in our community, like, you've got other communities like the West African communities, like the Caribbean communities, the Asian communities who are so vocal about these kind of topics. And with us, it's like, it will be a conversation in the bedroom, but when you're out there, it's like,
It's unspoken.
No, don't say that. You're going to get in trouble. But then I just thought, like, why can't we, you know, kind of like break the barrier and just be very open about our cultural, what do I call it? Cultural differences or whatever, you know? Because we have a beautiful culture in by any means. Like this is not. I do not bash my culture. I love where I'm from.
No, I don't think you do.
And
I think you inspire it.
People look at me and be like, "You're a disgrace," or whatever. I'm just like, honey, what
Did
you
they
mean?
really?
Like whatever. Like I'm just like, okay, but.
But do you ever ask people what makes them think it's disgrace, or do they ask?
At the beginning, I was very like confused. I was like, "What did I say wrong? Like, did I say anything wrong?" I used to question myself, but then when I just realized, I watched the video back, and I'm like, I really didn't say anything wrong, but I feel like because it's still kind of like, I wouldn't say maybe weird for someone to come out and just say what they feel is just like, yeah, we understand, but you're not meant to say it. Like
yeah, but that's probably our
Helen,
community. We don't want to say a good thing about it because it's a bit difficult to express it at times. So we're like, okay, that's what she's doing, but we don't know how to react. So we're not going to say nothing, or we're better off saying something that's not meant to be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
but how was your first, let's just go back to if you got any negative out of it. How was that negative reaction to you? How did that make you feel? Especially coming from the community.
It's actually kind of weird because at one time I was walking and I was in Brixton, and this young Eritrean or Ethiopian, I don't know what she was in her uniform, young girl, she comes up to me and says, "Are you Helen?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love your videos." Thank you. She's like, "You know, my mum doesn't like you." I was like, obviously I can't say anything bad to her. In my head, I'm thinking, well, you know, you can't, you know, just say that to someone. I was like, oh, okay. She was like, yeah, she didn't like that video you made about the parents, but she's like, I like you though. I was like, well, thank you.
Well, that's a positive thing.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was like, listen, your mum is still, you know, giving me views, you know what I'm saying? Like, ching ching. But I mean, I wouldn't see that as a negative. Like, I wouldn't say someone has like tried to sabotage me or whatever in terms of my work. Like, at the end of the day, there's negative, there's constructive, and there's positive. You've got to take something out of all of it, you know?
What are the negative but constructive criticism you've got that you used it to benefit you to go forward?
It's funny. In terms of constructive criticism, I like to a lot. I like sniffing a lot. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very nafat girl. I'm a bogey. I have a lot of bogey on my nose sometimes. Whatever. I sneeze.
The way she said it, she goes, "I like to sniff a lot of that." What?
No. Oh my god! I knew someone was gonna.
What?
Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs.
The title is gonna be Helen Sniffs.
You should make that the clip for Instagram. You're like, what?
That's the one.
Drug addict? No. But like, I'm very.
You know the comedian gonna say, "I knew it. She was a drug addict. I knew it.
I knew she was about that life." No, but yeah. Yeah, just stuff like that. I see a lot of comments like that. I don't know, cause like maybe I've got allergies or whatever. I just constantly just, you know. So they'll be like, "Oh, Helen, like you need to stop doing that. You need to look more professional. Like in terms of like the way I speak, you know, maybe you could speak a bit more louder. You know, use a microphone. Just like it's more about the technical stuff as opposed to like me like just presenting the content. So stuff like that I really appreciate. Like I genuinely like you see I don't reply back to negative comments. Someone like, "It was a good time."
You shouldn't. You
Make
shouldn't though. It ain't gonna do nothing for you.
As it are, like, you know, just stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, but you can argue with your mother. That's fine. So I'll just ignore it. I'll like the comment that I'm very petty. Like I'll give the comment a heart just to show that I acknowledge them, you know. But you know, with constructive criticism, I always, no matter what, respond because, you know, they're showing that they actually appreciate what you do and they've noticed something that could be better. So they're taking time out of their day to be like, you know, I like what you did. However, your consistency is a bit, I really like your content, but you need to post more. So stuff like that, it shows that people actually genuinely, you know,
what people
care.
don't realize, it takes a lot of energy and work to do those contents. That's what people don't realize. Even a little 5 minutes content for us to go to YouTube and press watch it, but we don't understand how long it took that person to go through that process.
That 5-minute video, 5 hours of filming, 5 hours of editing. The battery dies, the work doesn't save. Listen, I've been there. It's horrible. And people will look at it and be like, oh yeah. Like, you know, when you watch it at the end, you're like, if you're the one that's made it, you look at the 5-minute video and be like, that took me time. But when someone
Yeah.
else watches it, it's like, oh wow, that was so quick.
Yeah.
Sis, if only you knew.
That's
If only
that's
you
that's
knew.
the thing.
The Red Bull, the everything.
It's going back. Do you know what? If you compare our culture, right, to the other cultures, how do you think our people support each other?
Oh my God, that's a very good question. I feel like I've seen a slight improvement, but I don't think we're at where we're meant. Like let's even talk about like closer to home. Like if we look at Somalis support each other so much. They
100% all
ride
day long.
out, and that's why there's so many successful Somalis. Like even like within what I do, like content creators. Like I'm not sure you know people like Chunks, Maya Jama,
Yeah.
all of these people. Like
They get
and
big support.
they're doing amazing, and it's because of the foundation. At the beginning, like, you know, when obviously nobody knows you, like you've got your people pushing you, and the more your people push you, the more they put you out there to like the other communities which are more mainstream or whatever you want to call it. So I feel like in our community there really needs to be some work done, because like I've seen there's people doing amazing now. Like, there's so many different like Eritrean and Ethiopian YouTubers doing their thing, content creators or whatever. Like I see it and I love it so much. I'm like, wow, like I finally don't feel like an outsider. Like, because I kind of felt like an outsider. I was like, there's not a lot of people doing what I do, especially where I'm from. So I kind of felt like, ugh. But when I go online and see so many of them doing new things, it's great. But in terms of support from the people that watch, like the consumers, you guys need to step your game up. If you want your people, if you want to put Eritrea or Ethiopia on the map, you need to push your people's content out there, because, you know, it's like, and one thing I realized is that it's like, you know, when you're noticed by like the outside audience, that's when they want to like be your friend. Like,
Absolutely.
no, like, do you understand? Like The Weeknd, okay, he's big now, but at the beginning, do you get what I mean? Like, you need to support your people if you want to see them there. So
When you're grafting, I mean, what way do you think we can change that? I mean, is there a way, especially someone like you, we can change that to improve that going forward? And because sometimes people don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes our community, we don't know how to support people. I don't know. It's a reflection of each other. But in what way can we improve on that section?
I think that's a very hard question. It's very simple. Simply just like by realizing that, you know, there's, like I mentioned earlier on, supporting someone that's already established. Okay, that's fine. You understand, support is support, but they don't need that support. Let's say if you have, I don't know, like Rihanna, she's got her Fenty Beauty out there. You might have Rahel down the road who's got Habesha Beauty or whatever. Do you get what I mean? Putting money into her business, it will benefit her more, and as opposed to benefiting Rihanna. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like, you know, you would pay £100 to go and see Beyonce, but you don't want to pay £5 to go and see whatever someone in your community down the road do. Or I understand Beyonce's established. You have more trust in someone that's established, but for that person who's established, they were at the bottom once. Do you understand? So just looking at them and understanding their vision and be like, yo, like this is one of my people. Like I want to see how many Eritreans or Ethiopians do you know that have, you know, whatever. Do you get what I mean? So in order for that to happen, if supporting someone is not that hard, sharing their video, you know, the algorithm's kind of messed up in social media now, so there's a lot of things that you could do. You can post their video to your story, you can tag your friends, you be like, yo, look, this is funny. Just stuff like that. It's very simple. Like, you don't need to do that much. It's literally the bare minimum. Like, all you need to do is just share each other's posts, big up each other. You know, word of mouth is good as well. Telling someone like, yo, like, I know a girl that sells whatever. She sells these bracelets. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, they're dope. Like, check them out. And when you're big in your community, that's when the other communities will notice you.
I mean, I feel like sometimes I've seen people, or you probably can understand, they watch your video, they like it, but they never press like or share it. So this is where I find it very strange. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
the tea.
Yeah, where I'm trying to work out sometimes. I'm thinking, why do people do that?
It's like one of them ones. It's I saw I think it was a meme. It must have said you get 10 likes on your photo, but you've got 200 viewers on your story.
Yep.
Bitch, you watching me, but you ain't liking my shit, like that. And it just goes back to like being bitter. It's like they want to see what you're up to.
But
Like,
it's that reflection on themselves though, because I feel sometimes people, they watch you and they like what you do. You become successful at what you do, and they're looking at themselves, then thinking, okay, what am I doing with myself? They're not even in your field. They feel like, oh, okay, do you know what? I'm not being successful with her. So if I acknowledge she's successful, oh, she's better than me. I feel that's the feeling that they get.
I hate to say this. I really hate to say this, but I think there's a lot of insecure people in our community.
100%.
The insecurity in our community is so weird and distasteful. And I'm not saying this I'm not saying generally, I'm just saying what I've experienced. This is from my experience. Like, I have, like, I don't care, let me get into it. I've cut off so many people because of what I do. Like, they'll look at me differently and be like, why are you doing that? Why can't you just be normal? Like,
What is normal?
what is normal? This is me. This is my normal. Like, I like creating content. I like talking shit. This is me. And it's like, it just shows that, you know, I'm not saying that everyone needs to do what I'm doing, but if you're doing well for yourself, if you're doing something, then they won't have the time and energy to be like, to question what you're doing. Do you get what I mean? So definitely it comes from within. Like, if you're not happy with yourself, you're gonna rub that off on somebody else.
But it just doesn't make sense to me. You took your
Haters.
time. Yep. You took your energy. You're watching somebody, but it's your community, but you don't want to support it. But at the same time, I'm watching people, like you said before, the Rihannas and the Beyoncés, they're reposting it. So I'm thinking, what's the process going through your head?
Do you know what it is? It's like, how do I say it? It's just a reflection of themselves. Like, obviously, there's more trust and reliability in a bigger celebrity, but in order for them big people to get to where they are now, they were once underdogs, and they had their small community pushing them up there as well. So that's what it is.
Absolutely. I mean, every dog starts at the bottom and makes the way up. And if you don't have the community supporting you, you're not going to go up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what the problem is. And that's why we've got someone like you who's out there experiencing it. And, you know, maybe, especially the next generation, you guys can help the whole community understand what works and what doesn't work, and how we can all do it as one. You know, we can all move as one, as unit. And to me, I don't know, because it's different. Sometimes the older generation, they don't want to change.
Yeah, they don't want to change, and it's just sad. Like, we could talk about this the whole day, but it's like, you know, obviously they've come from somewhere where there's less opportunities and whatnot, and they, you know, most of our parents might have fled back home due to situations like war and conflict and stuff like that, and obviously their opportunities there were limited. So when they see us here, it's like, oh, like, you look at you've got all of this, but you haven't done that. You know, when I was there, I had to walk to school. You know, I had to for 4 hours. I'm just like, well, here we've got buses and trains and cars, and we've got internet. So I'm sorry, that's not my problem. You can argue with your mother, but it's like, you know, we're living in a different age.
It's the old generation. I mean, how do you feel how the older generation, they adapting to the new way of life?
I feel like they kind of are being, what do you call it? They're in denial, and they're really contradicting it, because you're living somewhere where there's endless opportunities. You know, like, obviously majority of African parents want their kids to have that conventional linear direction in life, go to university, become a lawyer, engineer, doctor, you know, let's say your son or daughter or whatever wants to become a basketball player or a dancer, anything within that realm, you know, and there's people doing amazing within sports or whatever. And I feel like the support you get at home is very important. Some people, you know, they have to find their own motivation because they haven't got like a support system or family that necessarily cares.
I've seen a lot of people, they study something else, but they never use it. They end up doing completely different thing. It doesn't even
real.
work.
It's
I feel
real.
like, why would you waste your whole 4 or 5 years studying something that you're not going to use it at all?
It's that, like I said, it's the pressure from family, because within our community, like, you know, family is the root of everything, you know, like, you've got to love your family, but you can't change, you can't completely change who you are in your life for them. Because at the end of the day, I hate to say this, 9 out of 10 times you're going to live longer than them, you know? So, you know, you've got to do it for you. And at the end, when you're doing well, they're obviously going to be happy as well. So, you know, it always happens. They'll be like, oh, wow, you're making money. Come home now. Where was you at the beginning when I didn't have this money?
All right, going back here, from you guys, presenters, throughout YouTube, Instagram, how can we break the barrier in our community going forward? If it was up to Helen, right? Let's have an imaginary moment. If it was up to Helen, how would you change that?
In terms of what, like people being supportive, people who are on social media and stuff like that.
Even in general in our community.
Yeah, in general, I feel like when someone has, what I've realized in our community is that, let's say there's like a hazan or a mar'a or whatever, people are excited. They're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go get our hair done. Let's go get a haircut, whatever. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be shining as well. They're going to be eating their injera. They're going to be drinking their suwa. They're going to be wearing their traditional clothes. So for them, it's like it's their own celebration. But when you hear someone saying, look, can you guys, you know, share this for me or donate, like whatever. Oh, you know, I've got work. My pet dog, something happened. Whatever. And they need to understand that all these big people they see, they were, like I said to you earlier on, they were once at that position. So in terms of breaking the barrier, I think it's very simple. You need to understand that these people that you might be laughing at who are doing these silly things on social media, you don't know what they're going to be tomorrow morning.
100%.
You really don't know where they're going to be. And when they reach there, don't think they're going to come back and chill with you. No, because that's how it goes. First they laugh, then they copy. Do you understand? So I would say, back to your question, to just understand their vision, understand why they're doing it. They're not doing it because they're wasting their time. Like you guys are not doing this because you're wasting your time. Like this can be big. You understand? And people need to understand that people are. It's a job. Like people look at you and be like, you don't have a job. You're at home doing this. But when they see the money, you know, they just look at the end vision and just be like, wow. But when it comes to the journey, it's like, they don't care, like, oh, what you're doing is not going to work.
But is that responsibility between us or you guys to make the older generation understand? Do we have responsibility as well? If you flip it the other way, you know, we always complain, oh, the older one, they don't understand, they don't do this. Then I think sometimes if you flip it, do we have responsibility as well to make them understand?
I don't think the pressure should be, we shouldn't be pressured for them. We shouldn't have the pressure for them to understand what we're doing, because when they look at other communities, they will admire them and be like, oh, look at them. They're doing this, they're doing that. Why? Because they had the support. Of course, you can tell them, you can tell your mum or dad or your auntie, whatever, look, I'm trying to be a professional singer. I want to, you know, go and audition for whatever. Do you want to come with me? And let's say you didn't pass the audition, obviously they need to understand there's other avenues as well you can do well. Because one thing I've realized about our community is, like, if you fail once, they look at you as a failure forever. It's like, oh, well, he didn't finish that, she didn't do well, she's whatever. Blush. You know, just end up doing this or whatever. They need to understand that, you know, this shit is hard. It's very hard. You know, there's times where it's like, and there's times where it literally just explodes out of nowhere. And, you know, you can't just support when someone is doing well. So I feel like we shouldn't have the pressure we shouldn't have the responsibility to make them understand. They need to, it's right in front of them. They're seeing it with their own eyes. You can see it happening for other people. Why is it so hard for you to accept that it can happen to your own, for your own people? So, yeah.
Are we still in that world where, unless you're a doctor, you're an accountant, a lawyer, you're not successful? Do you think we still have that in our community?
Oh yeah. It's kind of like, it's one of them ones where it's like they'll be like, oh, your cousin, she's a doctor, your brother, he's an engineer. What about you? You're talking shit online. I'm just like, oh yeah. can't
But
even,
what
you
they
can't
don't
even come.
understand is you probably end up potentially making more money than the doctor and the lawyer.
Yeah,
With how
there's
the world
like,
is working
I
right
was
now.
watching an interview. I watch a lot of like interviews of like content creators and their come ups and stuff like that. And I'm sure you guys know who KSI is.
Yeah.
One of the biggest YouTubers probably in the world now. And it's like his parents wasn't happy with what he was doing in the beginning, and then like not probably like I don't know, a year or two in, he was earning more money than his teachers.
Imagine
He was
that.
like, this is weird. Like he was like, I'm earning more money than my teachers. But then that's when they notice it. And it's so annoying. It's like, why does money have to define like what you, obviously money is good. I want money,
What happened to
but
following your passion?
what happened to like, you know, the passion? What happened to the vision? What happened to that? Why is it so hard for you to take someone serious just because they might not make money straight away? Do you understand? And I'm not here bashing people that want to be doctors. Like, we want more doctors in our community. I love seeing doctors. I love seeing engineers. Like, we need you people as well. But you need to understand that some of us, like, are creative. Do you understand? Like, in my family, I would say I'm the creative one. Like, you know, my brother, he's more, you know, IT, maths, and that kind of stuff. And that's fine because he's good at it. And I'm good at the creative side, you know? I'm that's just me. And they need to understand that there's different types of, you know, avenues that you can take in life.
Plus, the world will change. I think what they need to understand as a parent is every child has got a different gift. One child might want to be a footballer. One child might be a painter. So they should support individually to the best ability to that child need,
That's
not
the
forcing
problem.
the kids to be something that he's not. And I think that's what the problem I see.
And that's how insecurity comes. Insecurity is built off of that, because if you have been built and shaped into something that you're not, at the end when you realize, wow, I didn't want to do this, and when you look at other people who are doing what they want, you're gonna rub it off on them and be like, well, they got to do what they want, so let me.
You can even resent your parents.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing ever. It's like I'm so grateful I come from a family who, obviously I can imagine my dad would have preferred me to, you know, go to finish uni, become or whatever. I understand, like, we all have preferences, but he's never like forced it onto me and be like, oh, like, you understand? So that helps us all, having supportive parents. And I can imagine there's so many young people out there who might be watching this and thinking, wow, like, I'm unhappy in life right now because I'm doing something that I don't want to do. But it's conflicting as well, because it's like you want to make your parents happy, but you also want to do what you want to do. So you're kind of stuck in the middle. So these conversations are really important. What we're talking about right now is really important because, you know, parents need to understand that, you know, your child pursuing something that you want them to pursue, is that what they want to do? Are they happy? Do you talk to them about their mental health? Do you know, there's so many factors. So yeah.
And this is what they need to hear. I mean, if you don't speak to your child, how are you going to understand what he wants? Because I feel like certain parents, they're forcing their kids, they want them to do what they want them to do. Is that if maybe the father had a dream to be an engineer, he's pushing to that kid to be an engineer, not really understanding what that kid wants to be. We don't have that opportunity, I feel, in our community to understand your kids and ask them what they need. You know, it's not always, you know, what the education system tells you need to be in certain things. I mean, I'm sure you don't go to school now, learn how to be a YouTuber.
And do you know what's funny? There's courses on how to be a YouTuber now.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's people like who are paying money to learn how to be a YouTuber. Do you understand? Because there's so much demand for it, and they've seen like what kind of life it can give you, what you can get from it. But you know, it's just do what you want to do, man. Like, just don't listen to your parents.
Going back, what is negative about being a presenter, YouTuber, or social media star, whatever you want to call it?
Obviously, I wouldn't say I'm big. I'm kind of like starting to get more recognized by like the outside community now. I'm getting more opportunities from like different communities as well now. So, and obviously within my community, I would say I'm kind of known. But the negative is obviously like the more you show people, the more they want to, the more you let people know about yourself, the more they want to know. So it's like you show a little glimpse of your partner and they'll be like, how old is he? Where is he from? What does he do? Like, you know, when you type your name on YouTube, when I type Helen Haile, Helen Haile boyfriend
Really?
is what comes up.
Are you being serious?
What do you motherfuckers want to know about my man? Helen Haile boyfriend, Helen Haile
How does that
age.
make you feel though? Because that's a bit personal.
Why do you want to know about my boyfriend? But no, it's like, I don't care. I really don't care because he's fine as well. Like I've made a video of him as well. He's quite open. He understands. Like, you know, my DMs are full of crazy people. I don't even want to go into that too much, but you know, there's very
I mean, that can make a person, if someone like you, and I can imagine so many stupid people start DMing you, especially guys, that can make a person feel some type of way.
I've personally, I've had this conversation with my partner, and he's very supportive. He understands what comes with being on social media. Do you understand? Like, if I was in his shoes, I'd be a bitch. I'm like, who the fuck is that in your DMs, bro? Like, who the fuck is she? Like,
But does that mean it's more easier for a guy to handle it than a female?
no, I just feel like.
Or is it this individual thing?
I think it's an individual thing because it's hard either way. Like me personally, if I wasn't a person on social media, and if I don't think hands up, I don't think I could be with someone that is in the public eye. If I was in the public, that's just a personal thing because I'm a very jealous girl. I don't want no girls in there because otherwise, do you understand? But then again, it's how you handle it. Obviously, I don't entertain dumb people in my DMs. You understand? If someone is giving me. If someone is appreciating my work, whether they're a guy or a girl, I will always respond. Like, if someone's flirting, like, do you understand? Like, but if you're appreciating my work, if you're admiring what I do, if you're giving me constructive criticism, I will always respond. But, like, in terms of other things as well, like, what was the question again? Like, what if how do I deal with negativity?
How do you deal with the negative that comes with social media? And
I'm quite, you see me, it's like you either like me or you don't like me. I'm not an in-between person. Like I don't like filtering things, or I don't like making things lukewarm for people. It's like I'm cold or hot, and if you don't like cold, you don't like hot, you go somewhere else. And I'm very fine with that because I kind of like take the piss out of myself as well. That's kind of me. Like when I post stories or whatever,
you don't take yourself serious.
I don't take myself, and that's one thing people find kind of weird. It's like I'll be like, let's say if I'm videoing myself on my story, and there's like, I don't know, I might have some eye wax, or I might have something in my tooth. Like a normal person will be like, oh, let me delete that, and I'll just be like, oh shit.
But do
like,
you think that's what people find more?
That's what a lot of people notice about me. Because I ask my friends.
You're keeping it real.
I always ask my friends, like, if you didn't know me, what would you think? I love asking people this question. If you didn't know me, like, but you watch me, what would you think? And they'll be like, oh, you're goofy, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's who I am, do you know? And I don't want to make myself like, I wouldn't say girly girl is the right thing to say, but I'm a female. Like, I'm proud. I love being a female. I love wearing makeup. I love wearing whatever, but I'm a goofball at the same time, and I grew up with men, predominantly men. So maybe it's that, but I feel like that's just me. And a lot of people, especially people in our community, be like, "Kiddy, like, come sabeti zay 20, come what 20? Why are you being like a guy for?" Like, I'm just a goofball, and you know,
You're the only girl in the
I'm the
house.
only girl in my family.
So do you feel like you understand how guys feel when you're making videos, for example, about Habesha guys? Does that give you a bit advantage?
Throwing shade at my brothers and my dad. No. I feel like a lot of guys kind of take offense to what I talk about sometimes, particularly Habesha guys. You know how girls like to mock Habesha guys, saying, "Oh, no hairline, skinny legs, whatever, ankles, this, that." Like, yeah, we joke about it. It's just everyone has their own cultural kind of like. Do you get what I mean? Like, you know, Somali guys, girls will be talking about how their bums are big and stuff like that. It's just one of those things, and they're so accustomed to it now.
Do you feel we're more sensitive?
Oh, 100%, like 100%, and it's so annoying. It's like a trend. Like no one is attacking you personally. It's just a general thing. Like get with it. Like, you know, it's like.
But they feel like they've been attacked personally.
Yeah, I made this video on my Instagram one time. There was a trend of like how certain people are made, where you're from, or like I saw this Ghanaian girl. She made a video on TikTok saying how Ghanaian guys were made, and you have a bowl and you'll be adding and then my cousin messaged me, was like, do a Habesha one like this. I was like, no, and it went viral in one day, and I was like, my DMs, but you bitch, look at you, you think you're nice. I was like, I knew it. The Habesha guys, you guys are going to be salty now because, like, it's just a trend. You understand? I'm not saying you're like that.
But are they missing the joke, or what makes them think like? I'm just trying to understand why would anyone.
I even poured a lot of water when I said handsome.
But they still took it wrong way.
But the end bit, the big belly bit, when I went, they were like, "Oh no, she didn't. No, she went there. She went there. She went there." But no, I love my guys. You know. You understand, Habesha guys, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, they shouldn't take it to offense. It's just a cultural thing that we all, mock each other for. But it's a joke at the end of the day. You guys cuss my forehead. I love my forehead. I love my 5 head. I'll embrace it.
It's interesting. Going forward, where do you see Helen going? Let's say 3-5 years time from now on.
Ooh.
Where do you see Helen going?
So in 3 years, I will be 28.
Mara.
Don't even go there. I don't know, maybe, but in terms of my career in like 3 to 5 years, I want to be on TV. I've made my TV debut this year. Actually, I went on a channel called Yanga TV. It's on Sky.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was like my first ever like live TV experience. Like TV, like Sky, remote control, boom, not YouTube. But but that was crazy. Like it was just out of the blue, and I was able to talk about like issues and stuff like that. And I'd like, as much as I do funny stuff as well, I like deep shit too. I've made a documentary on mental health.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really good.
Thank you. And I've done a documentary on, I've made a documentary on beauty standards as well. And so in 3 years, I hope to be on TV more, I hope to see more people like me on TV too. I want to see more Habesha people like breaking the barriers. And, I hope that, this thing that we're talking about ends and everyone starts to finally push each other. But yeah, I hope to be on TV. I hope to have my own, show or whatever, just more opportunities and stuff like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. If you was to give advice to young Helen, the 12 years old, 14 years old Helen, what would it be? Looking back now.
Do you know what? Growing up, I was so shy because I was afraid of what people would think of me, because I knew I was a goofball from time. But the fact that I'm Habesha, I'm female, like that demographic, just like, no, if you do that, people are going to think you're crazy. So it was like, I would tell young Helen to just be you unapologetically, because at the end of the day, people are going to hate you anyway, and people are going to love you as well, just do it for you. And yeah, I was just living in a bubble. I was like, I know I'm mad, but I don't want people to think I'm mad, but I'm being myself. When I started being myself, I honestly was so happy. It's the happiest I've ever been. So yeah, just be you. That's what I would say to little Helen. Just be yourself and love your forehead.
I mean, that's all we can do, love ourselves. If you was to give a bit of advice to those young kids out there right now, we've seen how some of them are behaving. What would it be? There are some of them are struggling out there. There are some of them, they don't know which direction they want to take in life, whether it's job, education, or they're having problem at home. They can't communicate with their parents.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them from someone like you?
I feel like, do you mean within our community?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I feel like in our community, one factor that kind of like pushes people, which puts people off, is age. A lot of people particularly in our community, they'll look at you and be like, oh, you're 30 now, you're whatever now, like it's too late for you in life. That's one thing that needs to be thrown away. I feel like age is nothing but a number in this case.
Yes.
A little nasty ass. But just don't limit yourself because of what your parents or whatever think of you. And you might not know what you want to do until you're 40 or 50. Like, I'm being serious. There's people that find themselves in their late 40s, you know, and they become like successful within like 2 years.
There you go.
You know, and if you want to study when you're 30, a degree is a degree. Do you understand? It's still the same piece of paper, but you know, in most like ethnic minority backgrounds, they look at you and be like, oh, well, you're a failure in life because you didn't graduate when you're 23 or 25 or whatever. You know, don't just do it when it feels right. Don't force anything. If you don't want to go down the educational route, you can always, you know, come on, we live in England. There's so many opportunities here. So many. You can sit in your bedroom and start a podcast that will literally do well. You can be a YouTuber, you can be a hairstylist, a footballer, anything. So just be you, like just be authentic. Don't do it to impress anyone, and you know, make your parents proud, but not to the point where you're losing yourself.
Absolutely. I've always believed, you know what, we're going to learn until the day that we die.
100%.
We're not going to know everything. So people should be open. Doesn't matter what age you are, 50, 60, 100.
Yeah.
You should always be willing to learn or pursue your
Absolutely.
career or your passion. The other thing I want to know is, as Eritrean, how do you think the other community perceive us?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like specifically Eritrean. They will look up. With females especially. I feel like Eritrean females are more, you know, known as opposed to Eritrean guys. So the guys will just look at the girls and just think like, oh yeah, you guys are just pretty, and that's it. Oh yeah, the Eritrean girls, yeah. Eritrean girls, we're all beautiful. I think all girls are beautiful, but there's more to us. And in general, I feel like there isn't like a specific perception. Do you know, there, like, you look at Nigerians and you'll have like a specific perception of them. There's one thing that everyone can pick on. But when you look at Eritreans, it's like, yeah, we are known, but we're not known for something like specific. It's just like, oh yeah, someone like, I don't know, Drake might have mentioned Eritrean girls on a song, whatever, young East African girl, blah, blah, blah. But okay.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Do you understand? So I don't think there's like, I don't know, like some of my non-Eritrean friends will be like, I didn't know what Eritrea was until I met you. And I'm like,
There you
wow.
go.
And I actually made a video asking people like in like central London, what is Eritrea? And nobody knew.
I saw that. It's so funny.
I was like, it just came out of the blue because I saw a girl who's Ethiopian that did it. And I was like, okay, Ethiopia's kind of more known than Eritrea, but people still don't know. So what the hell are people going to think about Eritrea? And some guy, I asked him, he was like, I don't know him. I was like, him? But yeah, we need to put the work in if we want people to know who we are.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, is there any projects coming up you have or anything that you want people to know that they can go and support you? And
if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you doing?
see?
Road to 100k soon. But subscribe to my channel. I haven't been so consistent, but I have a little project coming soon. Very interesting topic. It's very weird. It's very much me. It's something that I wanted to do, but I feel like I'm ready to do it now. So yeah, subscribe to my channel and you'll see that soon. I don't want to say too much, but you're getting a little exclusive.
Get ready.
Here.
Yeah.
Coming soon. But yeah, that's it. And I've been doing I've done a masterclass actually with a company called the Creative Clinic. It'll be out soon. So, you know, I've interviewed like industry professionals and we've been giving people, like young people, advice on how to get into the industry, whether it's with producing, editing and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been doing that as well. And yeah.
Amazing. I felt like the time has gone so fast.
I know, right?
Like it's very strange. It just boom, it went. We have this thing before we wrap it up. First of all, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This is really good.
It's a pleasure, and hopefully, and anyone out there, please follow and subscribe to Helen's page, and let's support one another. And she's doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And we all love what you do.
Thank you so much.
And what we do in this show is, before we wrap up,
I'm scared.
we want to hear what Habesha tune that you listen to that gives you vibe.
Oh, I think one that I've been loving lately. Well, it's been out for a while, but when it first came out, I was listening to it every day. Andit.
Ooh,
Mr.
Mr. DJ, you got something for Helen?
Oh my, you got it on deck. Ooh.
Bring out the £50 notes, brother.
That's actually a good hustle. When you go to some graduations, the wedding, you know you're gonna get your rent money. I've seen,
I should have got 50